Hey there, welcome to another episode of Tales from the Podcast. I'm your host, JB, here with my buddy Chuck Nasty. Yeah, pointing the right fucking way. All right, buddy. So before we go ahead and introduce our guests, go ahead and, let's throw out everything that we're doing right now so we get it out of the way. So, obviously, you got some shit going on with your band, right?
Bastard Sons of a Judas-Scope, just getting the name out there, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, all that fun shit. We're in the process of recording our next release, and it's some of the heaviest, most aggressive stuff we've done. So that should be coming out in the next few months, give or take. We're trying to spend a lot of good time on it just to make sure it's perfect. On Wednesday nights, got the Video Store Clerks, another podcast, and Saturdays is this. I'm so used to fucking just going through all my shit with everything I do. That's it pretty much. Just go check shit out. Just go check it out.
Awesome. And with me, I know Chuck's band, you guys are doing awesome, but the Legitimate Sons of a Jesus Pig, the band that I created to basically make happier versions of all your songs, like, about hugs and shit. We
have some things in the bloodshed, you have some things in the hugs or some shit like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's
perfect.
super popular. We're getting tons and tons of comments on it and how people love to masturbate to it. So thank you all for touching yourselves to my music. I greatly appreciate it. And talking about touching yourself, remember, Tales of Shock and Terror, you can get over at talesfromthepodcast.com, our anthology horror comic book, and you can touch yourself while you read this too.
While listening to Bastard Sons of a Judas-Goat or that one song from that other band he's talking about.
Well, if you want to touch yourself, you're going to listen to the Legitimate Sons of a Jesus.
That would be like the biggest fucking compliment. I have yet to hear that. I didn't find that out. Bastard Sons of a Judas-Goat. Fuck to our music.
There you go. So anyways, let's go ahead and introduce our guest this week.
Hell yeah.
Our guest is somebody that I have, I guess just to be honest about it, I've been listening to the show that he's on. I'm probably since like middle school. Like, we're talking like 15, 20 years I've been listening to these people. And, just a huge influence on my everyday morning life. Great guy, awesome content creator. He's a TikToker, he's a streamer, he's an entrepreneur. Mr. James Campbell.
Well, hello. What's going on, guys?
How's it going, man?
I know you kind of stuttered there. You kind of paused, but I knew what you wanted to say is this next guest is somebody who I've pleasured myself to numerous times since we're on the topic of self-pleasure.
Well, it's funny because before the show he was telling me all about that, but yeah, he didn't want to say it here.
It's hard to stay soft with so many man thongs.
Yeah, well, hey, what pays the bills?
It was that episode. It was that episode where you were simulating sucking yourself.
Oh,
that's what did it for him. I'm telling you.
The air sex. So, okay, pretty good. Oh no, you're probably talking Peep Show. You're talking about David Chuck.
Peep Show.
Yeah. People can't believe I'm that flexible.
I
was clapping. I was impressed.
Yeah, if I had a couple more inches down there, I'd be self-service. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, we all can dream, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what it's all about, is having that dream, man. For some people, it's creating content. For others, it's
Bill Hicks said it. Bill Hicks said it best, though. He's like, "Look, if I could suck myself, this would be an empty crowd. Like this would be an empty stage right now. I wouldn't need any of you all."
Well, I mean, you say that, but I mean, the reality of it is that there's probably gonna be a lot of people wanting to watch that happen. Um, so
That's what OnlyFans is for.
Right. Yeah.
fair,
See,
fair.
fucking 2022.
So I mean, these comments are rolling in already, though, guys. So obviously, I started off earlier. I thought, I'm here, sluts. You can start now. Sorry, we were a little bit late.
What up, Odd Man Out? Man Thong Mafia.
There we go. So I love that man thong mafia.
That's awesome.
That's definitely fucking awesome. David, Justin, I got a feeling you're not in the crypt anymore. Well, I mean, tonight is a little bit different of an episode. I will give it that. Still childhood horror. It's hard for me to argue that. And
Dude, this
that was one of
movie,
the
if you
points
were a
you brought
kid
up.
to watch this movie, you should be terrified. And I think this movie has really planted the weirdness seed in my brain. I've watched it so much as a child growing up. I feel like I can draw so many parallels to some of the weirdness in this movie, to some of the weird stuff that I'm into now in my current life.
My son loved
I
it.
can't wait to talk about that. That's for sure. Let's see here. Lady with all the head in the closet was cool.
Dude, it's the creepy
Yeah.
thing, man.
Actually, my buddy Sean, he's in here. He says, "What's up, brothers?" Sean
What's up,
lives.
Sean?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he lives in Colorado. And one of the things that he and I have a small connection about is that we both listen to Dave and Chuck the Freak.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for listening. Thanks, Sean. Thanks for listening, Sean. Penis to you.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna message back balls. So let's see here.
Well, hey, some prefer the shaft, some prefer the nutsack. You know, it's all good.
Right. That is very true.
It's all part of the dong.
I almost built a full size TikTok last year.
That's cool.
That's fucking insane. And,
That was one of my kids' favorite characters.
I was right.
Balls. Yeah.
I mean, considering I have my own welding machines and stuff, I could probably build a TikTok. So
That'd
if
be
anybody
sweet.
wants to donate the material,
There you
I
go.
can definitely have that happen.
There's gonna be a
and
lot
then
of
if somebody
springs
wants-
and a lot of gadgets in there to get all those wind up, parts.
Oh,
I feel like that's
yeah.
gonna be kind of complicated, unless it's not
Right.
fully functional.
Well, I mean, making it fun. See, I think the outside stuff is going to be easy. It's like getting it to actually start the thinking process.
Yeah, you got to
You
get
know-
that AI. You got to get that shit that Elon Musk is working on. You know,
If JB was to build his own robot, he would just have it programmed and just tell him how amazing he is on a regular basis.
really.
It'd just be a blow up doll. It's not going to even do anything if I made it. Let's just be
Hey,
honest.
talking the fuck hole, like no, dude, we don't need to do that. Like, is that what you're saying? Like,
Dude, you got to shoot. You got to shoot higher than that. At least give it the hand job capability. You know.
yeah, it depends on how you shoot.
You know?
But
You're right. I mean, there's no better way to go about it. That's for sure.
hey now,
He's like Dave and Chuck the Freak. See, Ron Perty here. Wait, I heard something about sucking.
nah,
I mean, freaky ass movie.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
We were watching this one as a kid. I mean, yeah, we're gonna get into this. And Cutthroat Comics. Yeah, our publisher for our comic book can't
Yep.
stay up too much longer, but must mention the Craft American History X and Waterboy.
Yeah.
Obviously talking about Frieza Bulk.
Yeah, the actress who plays Dorothy Gales in all those movies.
Oh yeah, and talking about Cutthroat Comics, if you guys are into comic books, go check out our newest Kickstarter, which is already past 100%. I mean, let's be honest. I don't think we've ever had a Kickstarter through the company that didn't last after
we have a new
100%
Kickstarter.
like not us. It's through
Oh,
the
okay.
company though. But
Come on,
Oh,
you got those stretch
okay.
goals. You got to hit those stretch goals.
yeah, I mean,
Well, yeah, I just didn't know. I guess I didn't know we were already doing
he's
that.
already unlocked too. No, Turkey Sharks 1, 2, and 3 are out. He's
There you
doing
go.
6 variant covers this time, and
How much for your stretch goal to where Chuck Nasty sits on the American Challenge? That's a real stretch goal.
ooh, I mean,
What is it?
you know what? We could do that as part of the Tales of Shock and Terror book, since Chuck's actually going to be doing that one with me
There you go.
for issue number 2. American Challenge is what, 24 inches?
It's a big one. It's a big boy.
It's a
What are
big
y'all
boy.
talking about?
Yeah.
What are you
American
fucking
Challenge
talking
is
about?
a huge
Chucky.
fucking dildo, Chuck.
Yeah, the American Challenge. man. You talk about stretch goals, not just stretching your fun.
Hey, that's not the kind of
stretching
stretch
your
I do,
vehicle, too.
buddy.
Oh, okay, my bad.
No stretching. No stretching.
JB's robot would just play legitimate Sons of a Jesus pig. I swear, man, one day this little spoof band that me and Ron have going, that is gonna surpass everything that you've ever done.
Look, I'm telling you, man. I still say that if you all do some shit, I would love. We because I already talked to Josh. We are down for doing a split. Get a couple of songs together. We'll have and just we'll do a split on that shit. It'd be great. It would go aluminum.
We made this band just to make happy song versions of yours. No
great.
real reason.
It's great though. It's a great idea.
It is. So, anyways, let's go ahead and jump into this a little bit. So, the movie for tonight is Return to Oz. So, James, I have to ask, mostly for the audience, because you and I have actually chatted a little bit. Why did you choose this movie?
Well, I know you want to do something that's like kind of in the realm of horror, and I'm not a big like horror guy. Like, just I'll watch some of the movies and stuff, but if you really want me to talk about different things and things that I can kind of elaborate on, this would be the perfect movie. So I've seen this movie so many times. It's available right now on Disney Plus. I've actually watched it twice to get ready for this whole podcast tonight.
So I watched it on.
And growing up as a kid, my mom had taped this off HBO, and there was a couple of movies that we would watch. So it was The Return to Oz, and then it was the original Superman with Christopher Reeves, and they were like taped slow speed, one in front of the other. So those was pretty much the two movies I'd cycled through watching up through to like first grade until I think we got like Ghostbusters on VHS. It was those two movies, and then sometimes we throw Labyrinth in there, you know. So much of my life and so much of my creativity I feel like comes from the movie Labyrinth and this Return to Oz flick, because there's so many weird, wild, wacky things, starting from weird monster creatures that I dig. Like pumpkin heads, my love of Halloween, just some of the weird out there type stuff. And it's not like your typical Wizard of Oz. Like you'd hear Return to Oz, people be like, what the fuck is that shit? I don't want to watch some kids movie. And I'm like, I get that it sounds like it's a kids movie. This isn't the Wizard of Oz that you would watch on Christmas Day with your family, if that is still a thing. I know they'd have it on when I was a young kid on Christmas Day. You'd have watch the Wizard of Oz.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's on like whenever they decide to put it
and
on
Christmas Story like 15 times in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like one channel's got the Wizard of Oz at night, like a big Christmas treat, and the other channel's got Christmas Story 24/7.
And Charlie Brown's poor ass tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Depressing. It's such a depressing cartoon. Like
It is.
Like,
It really
get the
is.
Christmas spirit. Charlie Brown's not the way to go. But
No.
just it's not like the Wizard of Oz you'd think. I think this also has like more of an age appropriate to the actual story of the Wizard of Oz, or that whole. I'm not familiar with the whole storyline, but like the chick
It
that
is
plays
closer to
Dorothy,
the book.
Yeah, the chick that plays Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz, that that the singing and dancing and like that shit. Like that's played by a grown woman when Dorothy was really supposed to be like a young girl.
Yeah.
And there's so much weird, fucked up shit in this movie. Like you're talking about a kid getting electroshock therapy to their brain.
Yeah.
You got crazy guys with wheels for arms and legs chasing kids around.
It was like fucking Batman Returns. That's what that's all I could think about was Batman Returns.
Absolutely.
Those Penguins guys.
Yeah, the Wheelers, dude.
Yeah.
You got like a princess who's like an evil princess who's got like 30 different heads of different women, that she
Which
can
is
take
cool
the
as
heads
fuck.
on and off, and they're all stored in a glass display, long hallway. You got a crazy like couch that you build, you add like a moose head to, and it turns into a flying couch. You got a giant rock guy who's turning human as he takes the souls of Dorothy's friends. Like there's so much weird shit, and you would think this is supposed to be like a whimsical, like fun little adventure. I don't know how I survived watching that movie, but I definitely picked up on stuff as I watched it as I got older, that I was like, I remember having anxiety about certain things. So certain doctor's offices, certain things that you see in the doctor's office, I'd be like, I'd have anxiety because I'm getting taken back to this movie. Being lost in the woods, possibly drowning in a river. I could think of moments of when I would remember that movie and get some of that anxiety build up in me. Like it's just crazy the effect that this movie has had on me growing up.
Well, I can definitely understand why. That's for damn sure. I mean, and I will say that is the best answer I think I've ever gotten to me asking somebody why they picked the movie.
I would second that.
I'm just gonna throw that out there. I mean, and we've been doing this show for it's been years now, and it's
a lot better than
usually it's like
I really like
really like this movie. This is one of my favorites growing up. I mean, That was a real fucking answer.
Dude, like
If
people
you're
have
ever
wrote
trying to be a
blogs.
guest
People have
on here,
writing blogs about this movie, about how fucking creepy it is. Like the Nerdist has an article on it. I sent you some links to it. Like I was really trying to set up the sell to Justin on this movie. I was like, here's some links. If you don't think it's creepy enough, check out these links because I think this would be a great one to talk
I knew
about.
it was creepy enough. I mean, hell, they just did a whole documentary, last year on this one?
Oh, did they? I haven't seen that. If they did, I gotta check that out.
So. Yeah, trying to think what is it called?
This wasn't a movie.
Remembering Return to Oz documentary 2021, because Emma Ridley's in it. She played Ozma, who
she's also, like the princess strapped in the mirror.
Yeah. And also for all the horror fans out there, Hammer House of Horror. She was Sophia in the house that bled to death. So, I mean, there is a lot more horror connections with this, too, than most people even realize just with the people who were in this movie. Which
and also, if
going to be fun to
people
talk
who
about,
are just
too.
like film buffs, if you want to talk about like screenwriting and the different like acts when you're writing a screenplay and the use of objects and now what people call Easter eggs. There's so many different Easter eggs and so many different things that you could see in the reality of Dorothy Gale back into when she returns to Oz, to totally lead you what this story is coming from. Is this a real place she's going to? Is this just an hallucination of a child? Is this something that's been brought on from the electroshock therapy she's going through? Like there's different ways you could take this, just from like a film studies point of view.
Oh, I didn't see this movie. I didn't see this movie as a kid though.
Oh,
like that's the difference with everything. It's like I was watching it earlier, and I was because we started last night and then finished it earlier, and I was thinking, I was like, it's really funny because a lot of people were like, oh, well, I saw this when I was a kid. I didn't see it until I was 17.
Okay, so it's not going to have as much of a crazy effect on you then.
I had a girlfriend that loved this fucking movie, and she made me watch it one time. She's like, "This movie's weird." I was like, "I don't want to watch Wizard of Oz." And then she was like, "No, seriously, it's not what you think it is." And I was like, "Well, that's really fucked up." And I've been okay with it, But the thing is, though, this is the second time I've watched this movie. Like, but it's definitely in the fucked up area where it's relevant. And I like it.
I would definitely argue that this is just as dark as Labyrinth. Labyrinth might be a little bit darker just because you got David Bowie stealing children, which is pretty
magic.
Creepy. That is still one of the coolest songs in the world. Yeah, that package isn't scary though.
Anyway,
that's fair. So to go ahead and jump into this a little bit, we have Return to Oz, like I said. This was directed by Walter Murch, and to give everybody an idea, he was so good at directing movies that he only did this movie as well as one episode of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the cartoon. He did not direct another single thing. In fact, most of his career was spent doing sound work as well as editing. And his editing's kind of crazy when you think about it, because going back, I mean, he did a lot of like the Godfather stuff. So he did that. But then again, he also did the really shitty 2010 Wolfman movie. So, I mean, his editing can vary from being like extremely well done to being some of the worst ever done.
Yeah, you killed me on that one. I hate that fucking movie.
Well, I mean,
the boring piece of shit. Jesus Christ. I saw the movie in the fucking theaters and I fell asleep halfway through. Yeah, I was stoned as shit, but whatever.
Still. Yeah, as far as the writing for it, obviously he did the writing for it as well. Obviously kind of still based off of the novels Land of Oz as well as Ozma of Oz. Now, to get into the acting for this movie, we got Fariza Balk in this. I mean, probably best known for The Craft, I'm going to go ahead and throw out there.
The Craft, The Worst Witch, American History X.
Yeah.
The Waterboy's girlfriend.
Yeah, Waterboy. She was also in The Masters of Horror. She was in
I was going to say, yeah.
So, I mean, we get a lot of really cool horror things there.
I've always kind of had a crush on her. Like, I just
really?
Yeah.
What got you going about her?
Because she looks evil.
But I mean, huh? Okay,
She's beautifully evil. Yeah, I just always, I don't know. There was something
she's.
about it I
I
always
don't
dug.
know. Every time I think about it, like especially after watching this movie freshly again, it's like she's looked the same since she was a little girl. Like it's kind of creepy if you think she's hot because she doesn't look like she's changed at all since she was like 9.
No, it's not creepy at all because she definitely is age.
I don't know. It's just
Like,
weird.
no, like, I
She
mean,
looks the exact same.
I think he's got a crush on her in The Craft, not so much as Dorothy Gale in Return
No.
to Oz.
actually, I have a crush on her from American History X, but whatever.
Okay.
But
As Rod
yeah,
said, she always looked a little too weird for my wiener.
well, I'll be quiet.
She was also in the what would you call it, reboot, sequel, whatever, for The Craft as well.
Oh, was she in that?
Yeah.
That's a shame. I would have
Well,
been.
I mean,
I haven't seen that shit. So
I'm not
first
a
was good.
Blumhouse fan. You know my views on it.
Blum. Yeah, okay. Fuck Blumhouse. I'm with you on this whole shit. Fucking yeah.
I've convinced people that Blumhouse is horrible.
You convinced me. Fuck Blumhouse. Halloween Ends was a needle in the haystack.
Right. We got Nicole Williamson as Dr. Worley in this right here. She is probably best known for the Excalibur movie. He played Merlin in the 81. And Spawn was can never say that fucking name. Cagliostro. In the 70s, Sherlock Holmes. Well, he played Sherlock Holmes. Dude's been in a ton of fucking shit. Masterpiece Theater, the Christopher Columbus miniseries. I know I watched it. I can't speak for a lot of other people on that one.
Whoa, Christopher Columbus, what miniseries?
Yes, in the 80s.
God, you watch this shit?
I mean, he got all this information off Wikipedia. What are you talking about?
Oh my God!
Well,
not then.
No. See, a lot of it started off with like I got into like the older kind of eras and time period type TV shows from growing up with stuff like Hercules: The Legendary Journey and Xena, and yeah, fuck you, Chuck.
Oh, I'm sorry. You saw me. I'm my bad.
Yeah.
I hate that
I
shit.
always
I don't
end up
get it.
jumping
I'm
into
like,
different periods,
you
and I
like
love
it. That's fine. I just don't get it. I don't understand.
I'm sorry. Maybe you're just not a Raimi fan.
I'm a Raimi fan, motherfucker. I'm a Raimi fan.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I just don't like shit.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I do like shit.
There
There's
we
a lot
go.
of
He was the cowboy Spawn guy. There we go. Yep. His name is just a fucking bitch to say. That's for damn sure. But he did a great job in that. That was actually the last film I believe he did. JB would make the Xena sound when he finished. Well, I mean, if I could, I would definitely try. That's for sure. We got Jean Marsh in this as Nurse Wilson. Let's see, what the hell was she even in? I can't even think about what she was in. Oh my God, yeah, she was in Willow. Talking about Willow, I believe at the end of this month we get the new Willow series.
Yeah, coming to Disney Plus. Yeah.
Are you excited for that, James?
I'm interested. I'm intrigued. It's worth, I feel, giving it a gander, but I'm not like counting down the days, so to speak.
No,
I didn't know that was a thing.
I'm a huge fan of the original personally, but I've always had a thing for little people, and I think Warwick Davis is one of the coolest actors in the world.
I've always had a thing for little people.
Yeah,
we know his fetish. It's okay.
It's all right. It's all right.
No fetish.
I judge not.
You couldn't judge.
The small hands make the tiny wiener look good.
Oh God.
Hey, do what you got to do, man. I mean, not all of us could be like Chuck and want the American challenge. So
I didn't know they were doing anything Willow related. Like, I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she played the queen in Willow, actually. So, I mean,
the evil queen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
She
was
plays a
her.
very evil part in this movie too. So it's,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. She's done a ton of TV though. Actually, Willow was the first thing she did after Return to Oz, which is cool. She was on the Tales from the Dark Side series as well. I mean, she's mostly done for doing a shit ton of TV stuff. She was in one of Chuck's and I's favorite movies from the '80s, The Changeling. She was Joanna in that, Chuck.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
So,
makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
like I said, there's tons and tons of horror things in there. God damn, she was in the '60s, Cleopatra. I mean, chick's been in a ton of shit. That's for sure.
Yeah.
See, we got Piper Laurie in this right here as Auntie M or Aunt M in this one, which I thought was a different kind of way of taking the character. I mean, growing up obviously with the original more than this one, but I mean, huge horror person right there. I mean, she played Margaret White in the original Carrie. She was on Twin Peaks. She was in The Faculty, so we got quite a bit going on there as well. I mean, let's see. I'm trying to like just go through some of the other ones that are kind of bigger now. Michael Sundin did TikTok. I mean, we got 3 people that did TikTok, which is kind of cool. It's a little bit different, but
You keep saying, and that was the one that fucked with me. Okay, was they kept saying TikTok and all that shit, and Dex, my son, kept fucking talking about TikTok. So the only thing I thought about was like a bunch of like chicks dancing around, like what the fuck.
you
Man,
know,
like-
different TikTok, not the yoga pants. You know, stretchy TikTok.
yeah, TikTok. Okay, yeah.
yeah.
Fuck. There's a totally new meaning these days.
Yeah, definitely. Michael Sundin actually died pretty early, but probably his best known role was Bertram in Lionheart. So
With Van Damme.
yeah. We also have Tim Ross or Tim Rose. I think it's Rose actually, but he was in there too. He also did TikTok, which is kind of weird, but he definitely has quite a few more credits, or at least memorable credits. He was, I'm assuming he was the voice, obviously, for Admiral Akbar. So anybody who's a Star Wars fan, I can see James here might be one with some of the stuff in his background.
It's a trap.
You know, for anybody who knows me, I'm a little bit of a fan. I mean, I've covered myself in enough ink of it. That's for damn sure.
You haven't seen his red dragon type Star Wars tattoo on his back yet. That's only for special people to get to see that
No,
when he kills them. I'm just saying.
no.
The dragon
I
tattoo on his
got
back is only visible by those that are pegging him from behind, huh?
That's right.
Oh, that's where those big tits come from. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, exactly. He was also in Howard the Duck.
No shit.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Not only that, but going back to some of our childhood kind of like horror type movies that really weren't horror, we got him as the treasurer in The Dark Crystal, which is another one of those really fucked up little kid movies.
That I didn't see till I was a teenager.
That was one of my personal favorites. I loved it.
When I was a kid, when all this shit was like everybody was like loving that stuff, whatever the fuck. Like I wasn't watching that stuff.
No?
No, I was watching Universal monster movies and stuff. Like I didn't care. Like I watched like the Ghostbusters cartoon and Beetlejuice cartoons and shit like that. But, like I don't know. I wanted something more. I don't know, more substance. It just didn't.
Well, that's
Everybody
fair.
else. I just wanted something a little more. I've always been a fucked up kid.
Well, I mean,
my adult life.
it
just
is what it is. You know, I
Oh,
mean,
you know.
now to go in one of the bigger names for this right here, we get Brian Henson doing the voice of Jack Pumpkinhead. He is definitely the Henson that you would assume he is. I believe he's Jim's son, and producer and actor. I mean, he did the Muppet Christmas Carol, Labyrinth. Obviously, big time with almost any fucking kind of puppet thing that's come out in the last 30 to 40 years. He's always had a part of stuff. Everything from the Happy Time Murders to, like I said, Labyrinth. and the dude's seems like he's still going pretty hard too. I mean, he has he has two things that are actually announced. One that got abandoned. They were going to do the Power of the Dark Crystal, which got abandoned, which kind of sucks. But for all you Labyrinth fans out there, there is an untitled Labyrinth project that he is producing right now.
Oh god.
Well, I mean,
that could be cool. I mean, whatever.
it might be. I heard Bowie's lost a lot of weight, so I don't know how he's going to look.
Shut up. Oh, oh no! I'm not gonna let you do it. No Bowie.
Let me do that.
No,
Right,
no Bowie.
I figured I had to let that one out. I already kept my mouth shut with
of all time.
the Superman jokes. So whatever, fine. And then, like I said earlier, we got Emma Ridley in this movie as well. And we also have Deep Roy playing the Tin Man in this. For those who do not know, Deep Roy was
the Oompa Loompas in the Tim Burton Charlie and Chocolate Factory.
He's also Teeny Weeny in the Neverending Story.
Oh.
So, another one of those childhood movies going back there. But, I mean, he's done a ton of stuff. He was also in the 2001 Planet of the Apes movie as the Gorilla Kid. So, if you're a, Apes fan, I guess. And then one of your favorite movies, he was in Pink Panther Strikes Again, Chuck.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
I do. I do like Pink Panther movies.
I know, that's why I said that. He also, episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. I'm assuming he was not the voice, but he definitely did some of the costume work as Yoda. So another Star Wars thing there too, which is pretty cool.
I think one of the, I forget who does the voice of Yoda. I want to say it's a Henson, but that could be mistaken.
I can't think of his name, but
it's a well-known name. It's a well-known Frank Oz. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was gonna say very, very well known. It's kind of fucked up that slipped by me, but either way, and sounds like a couple of porn names. Yeah, some of them are. That's for sure. And yeah, Dark Crystal was a bit scarier than Return to Oz. Dark Crystal was definitely scary. So to kind of just jump us into this movie a little bit, I mean, James, you gave an awesome description of the movie. It's just going to be hard to beat. I'm going to throw out there the plot synopsis, at least according to IMDb, and elaborate off of there. So, Dorothy, saved from a psychiatric experiment by a mysterious girl, is somehow called back to Oz when a vain witch and the Gnome King destroy everything that makes the magical land beautiful. For those who don't know, this is definitely a closer adaptation to the books. We got a real lion, not a guy so much in a costume suit. Well, I guess it's still a costume, but it's more of a real lion than anything else. We even start off with the real story with the Tin Man cutting off his limbs, which is something, like Corey was saying, Dark Crystal was a bit scarier than Return to Oz. I mean, yes and no. I mean, we're starting off with a fucking child talking about cutting limbs off in Return to Oz. If you really pay attention, I mean, Return to Oz is a pretty fucked up movie when you're really looking at a lot of the detail there.
Trying to explain what was going on with Dorothy to my kid was a bit much.
Right. Well, I mean,
they're going into that room. What are they going to do to her, Daddy? Kid, you ever heard of a lobotomy?
Right. Yeah,
like that.
Yeah, my 6-year-old was watching this one too, man. She loved it, but she was like, well, what are they going to do? And my wife's like, well, they're going to give her electrotherapy. And I'm sitting there like, she's like, why would they do that? And I'm just like, well, honey, in the early 1900s, when women acted crazy, we shocked them out of it. And it's like, I don't have a real good answer, but that's the fucking truth.
So many comments I won't make.
Well, I mean, it's true. It's not like I'm lying about it.
No, it's true. It's very true. It's fucked up.
So, I mean, she absolutely loved the fucking movie, though, but it's a different story of, Dorothy going back to Oz, realizing nothing is the way it was. And literally, the yellow brick road has been torn up. The rocks are, making faces, but, which are some of, I guess you would call them like the minions of the Gnome King, kind of watching over what's going on. We got the Wheelers, which are probably, really looking back at it, one of the weirdest kind of villains that you would ever get in any kind of movie.
I would
Period.
like to know if Tim Burton was inspired with that with Batman Returns, because they were really close to those fucking clowns and stuff that when all that shit was first going on. It's
It wouldn't
pretty
shock
close.
me if he was. It wouldn't shock me in the slightest if he was.
No, I mean, there's definitely something there. That's for damn sure. But
Yeah,
I mean, there's also a good chance Tim Burton never saw this movie too, considering how many people did watch it. You know,
I would say Tim Burton saw this movie. I would say that Tim Burton saw this movie.
I mean, you would love to think so, but I mean, it's just, it's weird. That's for sure.
He actually was watching Care Bears and Barney.
We
all
don't
these
know.
things.
We don't know. I do know that this movie really didn't make like a huge amount of money. I know the budget back, which is crazy because keep in mind that this movie came out in '85. The budget for this movie was 25 million, which is, a decent budget for 1985.
Yeah,
I guess probably not as big of a budget as you would think with all the puppets, because that puppet work gets super fucking expensive. But the gross worldwide on this, it's kind of weird because it's the exact same as the gross U.S. and Canada. So obviously it wasn't released internationally at all. But they only made 11.1 million, so they lost over half of their money on this movie. And with it being 11 million in sales there, basically, I mean, not a lot of people watched this movie at all. I do know it was Fariza Balk's, I believe it was her first film, which is cool. But
actually, that was the worst witch. I'm pretty sure.
probably, yeah.
That as a kid. That was a movie I watched as a kid.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I used to love that fucking movie as a kid. I mean, Tim Curry comes in at the end of it and all doing his Grand Wizard shit, which is really fucked up. He was called the Grand Wizard, but whatever.
Tim Curry's always a fun one, though. But it's
Did
just
you think it happened on Halloween? Go on.
that's cool.
No judging.
Well, anyways, Dorothy ends up going to the Emerald City to realize that it's basically in ruins. A lot of the people are turned to stone, including the Cowardly Lion and the Tin Man. And the Scarecrow is missing. We talked about the witch with her many heads, which is quite an interesting story. Just for the simple fact that, she was willing to put Dorothy up in this little room, lock her in there, for 3 years to get the head good enough for her.
Yeah, she wanted her to mature so she could steal her head and wear it around.
Yeah, I feel like she was too young. Where 3 years wouldn't have given her enough time to mature.
It's kind of fucked up. Yeah,
but I mean, I guess in a weird way, I can understand it. Like if I was able to look younger that way, I mean, there was a really cool thing there too, which Jack Pumpkinhead kind of mentions that he was left there when she was wearing the head in was it number 22, which is kind of cool that they put in the whole thing with her kind of basically having different memories going with different heads. Which
I'm gonna go
with an interesting thing.
there. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I'm used to you.
There's no way. Yeah, right. Yeah. There is no way that Tim Burton didn't see this movie. If you actually did.
You're still on that.
Pumpkin Jack, I'm just saying. It was a thing.
Well, I mean,
had to been a thing.
Why? Because of Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, Jack
Pumpkinhead. That makes
Jack
perfect
Skellington.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but first off,
they have a very similar
did
facials.
Tim Burton even come up with the Pumpkinhead version of Jack Skellington there?
But it doesn't matter though. It's an inspiration, regardless.
Well, I mean,
I would say he saw this movie. That's all I'm saying. There's too many parallels with certain things. It's like,
well, yeah, I would get you on the Batman one, but I mean, as far as the Nightmare Before Christmas, I mean, Tim Burton only created the characters. He didn't write that. He didn't write it. Nothing. So I mean,
I mean, okay, he created. I mean, if he came up with the characters, and you have Jack Skeleton, and before that you have Jack the Pumpkinhead.
Well, Jack the Pumpkinhead wasn't a different character. That was just a different outfit. I'm
Uh,
just saying that part of it could have been created completely by Henry Selick, who was the director. I'm just throwing it out there.
Whatever.
Hey, I'm just saying. I can't argue it at all with the Batman thing, but I mean, Nightmare Before Christmas is one of those where it's like I don't think people realize how little Tim Burton actually had to do with that project. And how much credit he gets.
This man has watched his Netflix documentaries.
But
I have no fucking life. I work 12 hours a day,
but he
bunch of
did
days a week,
create.
and then I watch movies.
But he did create the characters. Therefore, that makes me believe that he did see this fucking movie because there's too many fucking closeness to it.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. I'm willing to bet.
I'm just looking real quick right here on the Tim Burton connection to the this right here, and I mean, let's see, I'm not really seeing too much here. I mean, I'm looking it up because I'm just, trying to figure it out because I mean, there's just a bunch of bullshit in this fucking article. Nothing really good. Not really seeing too much. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, you're not really. Let's see here. Tim Burton said Jack Skellington is no, because that's just not really even about that. So I don't.
There's no that unless you actually talk to Tim Burton, and it won't ever happen. I'm just saying.
You don't know that.
I mean, maybe.
I will say though, it looks like from a lot of the articles that Tim Burton and Disney are not getting along whatsoever on anything. He's done working with them entirely.
I mean, I would be too.
Well, I mean, you say that, but Disney money is.
Yeah, but I mean the same point. I mean, like in a lot of ways, like in the words of Clive Barker, fuck Disney.
Okay. But if Disney wrote you a big enough check, you're going to fuck yourself for that money.
Yeah, but if you're Tim Burton, it don't fucking matter.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think people stop thriving for wealth. Otherwise, Jeff Bezos would have quit a long time ago.
Well, I mean, but if you're wealthy enough to like pass on certain things.
But people don't. That's what I'm saying. There's always that point where everybody has their purchase point. It doesn't matter.
So what you're saying is everybody has a price.
Everybody does.
Everybody has.
We were joking about the American Challenge earlier, but I bet for a certain amount of money, you would record it and put it on OnlyFans.
$2 million.
There we go. You got your price.
No.
$2
You
million.
say that's your price, but I bet if I was right there next to you with $2,000 cash, you would at least think about it.
You start measuring diameter.
Cash, shove a fucking lamp up my ass. Like I'm fucking broke. Like
see, so $2 million dropped all the way to 2,000. So
it's like the crypto market over there.
2 million. No, 2 million.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, my bad. Whatever. But still,
I'll throw $5 into the pot.
More than 2,000. Yeah.
All right, hold on. All right.
Here's your next Kickstarter.
Oh, shit.
I'm not going to do a Kickstarter. Put a note, PayPal, Tales from the Podcast 13 at gmail.com. If this gets
you don't want to see
$2,000, we will record Chuck taking the American Challenge, and I will leave it as James to see if he would do an intro video for it. And Shanty, I got 5 on it.
That's 10 right there.
We're already at $10, so I mean,
1,000.
$2 million. I'm broke. I ain't got a vehicle. It's broke down. $2 million.
Would you do an intro video for that if we were able to raise the $2,000, James?
No fucking way.
If you get the money and he's going to do it, I'll lube the dildo up for him.
So there you guys have it. It's like, Chuck, you're
Have a
gonna
seat,
fucking
Chuck.
regret this one. It's one of the things I bet you wish you could do when you're actually on the radio is have something happen like this where you throw your PayPal out there. But oh god, this is gonna be fun.
So
I
Return
hope
to
eventually.
Oz.
Well, yeah. So after you get the whole scene with all the heads and everything, which is pretty fucking interesting.
Yeah, so
To say the
picture
least.
seeing and watching this movie from the eyes of a child. You know, you're a kid, you're expecting to watch this whimsical movie, and you're watching this little girl walk through a hallway on both sides, just cases of heads just sitting there looking at you as you walk by. You know, but you're also being led by like an old woman, like not I guess not an old woman, an older woman. You know, is leading her down the way. She gets to a certain door, opens it up, takes that head off, puts it down. So now you have a headless body walking around to another door to open it up and pull out another head to put on. You know, and she even takes a moment to talk to her, holding the head down at her side. You know,
For a normal kid, that would probably bother them. My kid thought it was really fucking cool. But if you actually walked into my house, you would understand why it didn't bother him that much. But yeah, I actually think that's actually probably one of the coolest fucking scenes because I like shit like that. And it's just like, oh, well, she's changing her fucking persona. Like, and that's a really interesting way to do it. You know?
I had to throw this out there. Odd man out props. If he ruptures any internal organs, I call dibs on any collectibles. Pretty sure he's talking about you taking the American Challenge, Chuck. I just had to throw it out there. That was too great. But no,
Our Father Chart in Heaven. That what? Okay.
it's a pretty fucked up movie though. Like going even from there on out, though, I guess it kind of really tames down quite a bit though after that. I mean, you get the them going back to the Gnome King, trying to figure out where the Scarecrow is, which ornament he is, and watching everybody kind of turn into ornaments themselves until they realize that everybody from Oz is green. And from there on out, it's kind of easy for them to figure it out. The Gnome King gets all pissed off, gets really, really big, ends up eating the body to the bed, which is pretty weird. And then from there,
there's a Weinstein joke somewhere in there, but I won't make it.
You can do it if you want.
No, go on.
From there, going to eat Jack until the chicken lays an egg and it falls into the gnome's mouth, and we realize that to gnomes, eggs are poison. Which is kind of, I don't know, really fucking weird. We'll get into that in a little bit, but from there on out, it basically the Gnome King goes. She gets the ruby slippers back, basically wishes everything back to the way it was, and that's how it is. That she gets
happy
back
ending, yeah,
very much so. Comes back, Ozma's in the mirror. She pulls her out, and she, ends up being able to go back to Kansas. And you get a scene where she's getting ready to talk about Oz again to Auntie M. And instead, Ozma tells her basically to be quiet. And, we assume from there on out that Dorothy lives a happy, normal life without electroshock therapy or a lobotomy, we hope. And that kind of rounds out the end of that film, which is a really fucking dark movie when you really think about it, especially with a lot of the stuff going on in Dorothy's real life. And, I mean, James, I'm not even going to argue with anything that you were sending me or showing me, and didn't take a lot of convincing, to be honest. I mean, deep down, this is a horror type movie. It might not be Halloween or Friday the 13th.
Yeah, it's definitely not a slasher flick, but it's definitely like an intro to scary shit for a child, I would say.
Right, it's stupid. Like it has that same kind of like there's darkness there. There's
still one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, of course, yeah. One of mine as well.
But
I don't watch it 10 times a year, but
I watched it like 2 days ago. So fuck yourself. I love that movie to death. You're waiting for the 2000 mark, right? So, anyways, I guess to give my little review on it personally, I would give this movie probably about a 7. I mean, it's not a horrible movie. It's a fun movie. It's a good family one. It's one where you can actually sit down with your kids. And for
Yeah,
somebody like me or Chuck, especially, who are really big horror fans, we run into that quite a bit where it's like, okay, I'm going to watch this movie. It's like, I either got to wait for everybody to go to bed or for nobody to be home because there's probably something in there that nobody is allowed to watch.
yeah,
There's stuff that's going to make my wife puke and my kids can't see it. Otherwise, they're going to have nightmares for the next 10 years. So, for something like this, it's like you said, a good beginner movie for horror fans. Like this, Labyrinth, I'd say House, even something like Hocus Pocus,
Dax watched House with me recently and loved it.
Yeah,
Loved it. Yeah,
but I mean, it's a good one. It's better than watching your average episode of Goosebumps.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You know, I don't know if it's better than watching your average episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark though, because that was a really good show.
Truth.
Yeah, that show had its moments, I'd say.
That
But
one
I
actually
feel
had
like that
some
show
scary
scared me
ones.
more so because I'd be watching it in my basement with no lights on.
It was always that opening, man. It was always that opening. I remember when Snick was that thing.
Yeah.
That was always the opening. He was always
no.
creepy. I always loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm in my mid 30s now, and I still think about it. And it's like, anytime somebody's like, "Oh, I'm going to be a clown for Halloween," before I'm thinking of Pennywise or anybody else, it's like, that bitch better not be Zebo the clown. Like that's still the number one scary clown to me is Zebo, and nobody
I
knows
would
who
go with that.
Zebo is.
He was pretty scary.
But it was, anyways, it was still an overall fun movie. I'm happy James was able to pick a good one that honestly I don't think it would have been picked if anybody else was ever on the show. I mean,
It's true. I don't think it would have been like
it's an odd one that nobody would have really thought about, and I'm happy. I mean, plus I've had people that were on before where I mean they picked a movie. I was like, oh, that's really bad. I'm just going to trump this, and I mean this is a good one. I mean,
Oh,
I'm
good.
happy you
Good.
picked it.
Good. I'm glad I'm glad it went over well.
Oh, I definitely think so. Now, James, if you had to rate this movie between 1 and 10, where would you throw it and why?
I guess overall, I mean, for me, I'd want to rate it higher just because of the sentimental value, like the nostalgia I feel when I watch it. But if I was just looking at it from a critic's perspective, would
Well, I mean,
probably
no, don't look at it as a critic's perspective. I mean, this is your chance to give it the perspective of where you would rate it.
Okay, well, I'm going to say 8.5, just because of the feelings that I get from it. Some of the themes that you see in the movie, I really enjoy. I remember like pretending like like the floor is lava and some of that stuff. Like when the Wheelers hit the deadly desert and they turn into sand, like that. Like whoa, that's what it would look like if you actually stepped in poison sand. So that would influence some of those games that you play as a kid.
Truth.
I almost sometimes feel like all the little knickknacks that the Gnome King had, like look at my shelves are full of knickknacks.
I understand.
Sometimes I feel like that's part of the influence. Some of the weird shit that I have, some of the different monsters, you can see some of these different like zombie like muscle men where my finger is. You can't really see what they are exactly, but I think that one's like an undead chef with a hat. Like there's weird shit that you wouldn't normally find that you would decorate your house with. And I feel like some of that stuff is from different elements in this movie. Just even watching it this morning, like I just remember the same feeling I would get as a child when things were still mysterious. You didn't know, could some of this be real? Is this all make believe? What's real? What's fake? I can still get some of those feelings when I watch it, and I think about going to explore like a wooded area. Or when I grew up in my neighborhood in Sterling Heights, there was like an area we called the Fields, which was just undeveloped land that somebody owned, and there was like a bike trail that would go through it, and we'd go on adventures and explore that, and I'd get the same feeling that I would get in those fields with the mystery of what could possibly be lurking around. Are we going to find treasure? Are we going to find like animal bones? Are we going to find the stolen spree, the urban legend of the stolen spree that somebody stole and parted out and then dumped the frame there, which we actually found So I'd get some of those
Instead,
feelings.
you just find the used Porno Max.
Well, that too. Well, that too. But that was our stash. That was the stash of porno mags that I stole from the recycling center that we stashed back there. And then we didn't realize some of the older kids found them and were doing the unmentionable things to them.
Why can't these pages pull apart? I don't get this.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I'd say 8.5. Like, I think it's a great story. I think a lot of the different things that they did in the movie, it's enough of an adventure to keep you interested. There's enough like weird, spooky shit to kind of freak you out a little bit. And just coming from like a screenwriting background and some of the stuff that I learned in college, the use of objects that they have in there, and then the different ways that they lay out the different acts of the movie, it's like textbook stuff that I learned about in college. So
I'd say that's a pretty fair rating. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think on IMDb they gave it a 6.7, which I mean, even for a 6.7, it should have. It's one of those movies where it did not get the love it deserved back in the day, especially with box office numbers.
yeah, it's definitely going to be
sure.
one of those cult movies. But it's funny, like talking about it and talking to different people. I never realized how many people actually saw the movie, because I remember, approaching my teenage years and talking with friends, and you'd be like, "Hey, did you ever see like the Return to Oz movie?" Most of them were like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about." But then there's the few people that you encounter through life that are like, "I know that movie," and like those are the people that I tend to click with more so than others. It's
Well,
weird.
I definitely understand it. That's for damn sure. Chuck, where would you throw this movie?
I'd probably give it an 8. Honestly,
Yeah?
yeah. Because like I said, this is only the second time I've watched this movie. As a parent, also like it was fun to actually like whenever we do movies that like my kid can watch with me. All I have to do is mention, "Hey, Bubby, we're gonna be talking about this movie tomorrow, and I think you might like it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And the whole time that we were watching it, he's like, "All right, we gotta watch it. We gotta finish watching this movie so we can do our podcast. I mean, you can do your podcast." And it was like it's a good one. It's a fun movie. It's dark. Um, maybe not certain families would be okay with it, whatever. But we're a weird ass bunch of horror freaks here, and it's the perfect fucking like family movie. That's kind of weird. I mean, it really is. It's a fun one. Story plot's really good, and honestly, I think that maybe David Lynch would be really like I don't know what his opinions of this movie is, but I feel like it's like a rated PG version, so he would do. So I would say 8. Yeah, definitely good shit. It's a fun movie, and the thing is, again, it also comes down to Dax loved it. I mean, we started last night. We got mostly through it. He had to go to bed, and I was woken up this morning with him going, "When are we gonna finish the movie? When are we gonna finish the movie?" And he doesn't ever do that. So I gotta give it an A for that.
Awesome.
Well, that's fair. Well, obviously, we all liked it. Hopefully, everybody else gets a chance to check it out. And like you said, it's out there on Disney Plus. I actually have a physical copy of this that I watched it. I didn't
awesome.
realize
That's
it was
cool.
on Disney Plus.
No, that's actually really
Did you
cool.
go out and buy it just for this?
No, I had
Oh,
it.
okay. You still had it. At least you had it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm there's random movies all the way throughout my house. I mean, I got boxes of them everywhere right now. So
Yeah, this is one I was surprised to see when I subscribed to Disney Plus. I was happy to see that they had the Gummy Bears cartoon and then this movie.
Yeah.
A couple of things from my childhood that I wish they'd have. The only thing that they're missing is the Muppet Babies.
No shit.
I
Yeah.
didn't
Muppet
think about
Babies,
that.
yep.
I used to watch the Muppet Babies all the time. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
I
That's another thing.
do
that I would
they
say
have the rights
influenced
to
my
the
life.
Muppet Babies?
I think what the issue is music. Some of the songs and stuff. There's music issues because there was a big post on Facebook that people were talking about. Why isn't the Muppet Babies there? They have all the Muppet stuff on the Disney Plus. No Muppet Babies cartoon. And I know Muppet Babies, I believe, was a cartoon I'd watch on the Disney Channel growing up. And I believe it has something to do with music rights. Because, I mean, they tap into like a lot of the LucasArts stuff, Indiana Jones, Star Wars. Like that is where my fandom for a lot of that stuff has come from. is Muppet
Yeah.
Babies.
Fozzie was fucking Indiana Jones at one time in one of the
I
episodes.
believe Kermit was Indiana
Kermit?
Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
And
song.
that was
There's a
that was
song
before
in
they even
there.
had the rights.
Yeah, about eating. There's so much more to eat than just meat and potatoes. I believe is the line. And then Fozzie comes in. He's like, "Yeah, like tomatoes," because he'd always pelt him with tomatoes with his bad joke. Like that is eternally engraved in my brain. That little song, or at least that line from the song, and that scene from the cartoon.
What's funny is every time, and actually it's kind of fun we're talking about this, but like every time I eat fucking chicken nuggets from McDonald's, I always think about Muppet Babies because they used to have like a whole thing with Muppet Babies with McDonald's. when I was
Okay.
little. So yeah, so stupid, but yeah, good shit.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about Muppet Babies in quite a while. That's for sure.
Mm.
That episode that you were talking about, by the way, is from season 1, episode 4, Raiders of the Lost Muppet. So I just want to go ahead and just throw that out there, which I believe also came out in 84. So still another early one, that's for sure.
84. That's when I was born.
Yeah.
You're probably catching the reruns like me. I was born in
I
82.
guess maybe. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I remember watching that show as a kid, but yeah.
I was born in 88. I got the reruns, but either way, I mean, I still had a lot of fun watching the Muppet Babies growing up. That's for sure. Goddamn Muppet Babies! I haven't thought about that in so long.
Now you're gonna think about it all night. And why can't we get it on Disney Plus? Is what's gonna be going through your mind.
I don't know. I'm still pretty excited about Willow, so I might just watch that again.
Oh, there you go. Take your mind off of the Muppet Baby drama.
Right. I mean, I love Muppet Babies, but I also love little people. So I mean, I can just go with Willow and satisfy everything that I have going on
We
right
took
now.
the episode full circle, right back to his fetish. Boop.
There we go.
Right back, guys.
The small hands make the small penis look bigger.
They really do. I mean,
It's all a matter of perspective.
The thing is, though, you
is.
say that, and then one thing that that I asked myself a long time ago, because you got your friends, and like you try to see, what videos can fuck your friends up, whatever the fuck. And there was this one of this like midget, like being gangbanged, right? And you're just sitting there trying to figure out the whole time where's it going.
Where does it go, Chuck?
I don't know. I figured at this point it would probably go right out her fucking throat. Like I just I don't know. There's this it's fucked up shit.
I never
The
saw that
things that
video
keep
that
Chuck
you
up
saw.
at night, right there, everybody. Where does it go?
A
Where does
little
it
person
go?
being gangbanged.
Most people would be like, okay, let's find
Nostrils.
a different video. I think I'm gonna need to. You know what? I think we need to find a different video. Not Chuck Nasty. Chuck Nasty's like, oh my word, where does it go?
Right. I thought I had a fetish until you started talking about it, Chuck. And it's just like, man, this guy's really got into it deep into the little person.
Oh, not my thing. Not my thing. Just for the record.
Not your thing. How many
No.
times did you watch that video trying to figure it out?
Don't ask
He
questions.
did it for science, JB. Okay, it was for science.
It was for research. Damn it.
72
belongs in a
views, all for
museum.
science.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hopefully you at least learned something. No.
No, not really.
He learned that he can't get off watching little people porn. That's what he learned.
I've tried. I've tried and I can't do it. Like I'm just saying. So
Leave it
like
up
it
to you.
just.
I just feel
I
like
just
you
don't
didn't try
understand.
hard enough.
I just feel like it's like action, like what was it, acupuncture, but like worse for these like
Wow.
small porn star. I'm just saying.
I just think you didn't try hard enough. Anybody who's listening, if you have a really, really good little person porn, send it over to Chuck over on Facebook, Instagram, Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat.
Don't put any of this.
I don't know his personal email, but I mean, message me. I mean, you can find me on Facebook anywhere, Tales from the Podcast or Justin. I mean, I'm pretty easy to find. You can go to the talesfromthepodcast.com, go there and contact me through email there. I will send you Chuck's personal phone number so you can send him the best little person porn that you can find.
Devil got 3, I got 4. That's all I'm
let's
gonna
see
say.
here. Funny story. My gamer friend that introduced me to Dave and Chuck the Freak Outclan had him convinced I was a little person, and he still believes it. Oh God.
Well, that's a hell of a ruse.
Yeah. Sean actually is an amazing woodworker. For anybody who is a fan of any kind of woodworking, he did these custom engraved coasters for me. Did an
Very
amazing job.
I have mine, but it's in my drum bag actually.
I mean, he's amazing. He's also made us watch one of the shittiest fucking movies that we've ever had to watch on the show, called Monster Dog, featuring Alice Cooper.
Oh, the movie was so bad. I love Alice Cooper. That movie was horrible.
Alice Cooper didn't talk or anything. He was
It
overdubbed
was.
in every version of the movie.
It's
Even
it's
the
not his
English
voice.
version, he was overdubbed, which makes no sense. Like, he must have been really, really bad at talking. Is the only thing I can think of.
I would say the audio was probably recorded really bad, and they had to fucking redo it. And Alice was like, "Nah, I've got other things to do, rehab and tours, you know." Because I would say that time, that was about the time that he was having to go through some issues with alcohol and substance.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, anyways, before we go ahead and wrap this up, because I'm sure James has plenty of things that he has going on in his life, or at the very least, I'm sure he wants to go out and get a cheesy gordita crunch before Taco Bell closes tonight.
I wish. Actually, gotta help my wife put the baby to sleep. So.
Well,
welcome to the life, sir.
Thanks,
Welcome,
man. I got daddy duties to take care of now.
That's right. That's right.
No more midnight gordita crunches and bong rips. It's all dirty diapers.
Oh, you can always take the bong rips. I mean,
So.
make you a better parent. I'm just saying.
Shanty says, "Ha! I no longer have the shitty movie. Yeah, he made us watch a bad one too."
Yeah,
So, anyways, I wanted to talk a little bit about I'dBuyThatShirt.com, which I've already posted the links out for everybody to go and check out. Now, I mean, this right here is one of their designs, which, like the Mad Scientist one, which I personally, it's one of my favorites. And I mean,
it's one of my favorites too.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm happy I was able to get that one then. But I mean, you've put out quite a few different designs. I mean, you got some space inspired ones. I mean, it seems like you got one thing I will say, after listening to you for years and then seeing some of these designs, I definitely see the relation that you have with I guess I'm not really gonna just flat out say one of your favorite bands, but I can tell you like them enough. I can see the similarities with your point of view compared to like Rage Against the Machine.
Oh yeah, a lot of the designs and stuff do come across from that kind of perspective. Like when I did these designs, so back in the day, I made a.
I'm going to scroll through the designs while you're talking, by the way,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
people can see them.
Yeah. So before I got hooked up with Dave and Chuck, like I was the graphic designer for the radio cluster that the show originally worked out of. And I left the show. I left that job to live in Arizona with the girl I was dating for a while. And in order to make extra money, I would design T-shirts and put these designs up to try to sell on like the marketplace for bands, and you would submit designs and stuff like that. And you'd get shit on all the time because you got the big dogs in there. They'd see these up and coming dudes and they'd find just reasons to shit on your work. So it never really like got into anything of any world monetary substance, I did, but I won a couple of design contests, and when I was doing some of these designs, I was listening to a lot of Rage Against the Machine and a lot of Stick to Your Guns, which are both very politically driven, recording artists, so to speak. So that's where a lot of that comes from. And plus, for some reason, a lot of that stuff, like the fuck the system and like the little guy over to the corporate America type thing, has always kind of been my MO. I'm more of a pop punk kid, but I've always had like kind of like the punk rock, like kind of ethos, so to speak. So it's it definitely inspired, a little bit by the music and stuff.
I definitely understand your point of view on a lot of that music. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that I grew up in and loved has become so expensive I can't even see the things I loved anymore. Well, assuming that James had a chance to see the Blink-182 tickets.
Oh yeah, it was ridiculous. That was crazy. We had to. My wife had to pull some strings and go through some people she knew to get some tickets that were even affordable. So.
Oh really? Oh man. Yeah, I looked online, I saw them, and I'm just like, yeah, Can't make it this time.
Yeah, $500
Which
bucks
really
for a floor
sucks.
seat. It was just crazy, you know. It
That's
just
so stupid.
Well, I mean, to be fair though, it's what first time in like damn near a decade.
Who
all
gives a
back.
fuck? That's way too fucking much.
Well, I mean,
yeah, but I still feel like
that-
they're taking advantage of their fans and they're taking advantage of the situation that
Dude,
the fans are being
fucking-
put in. So
is it
fucking
really
Napalm
them
Death.
taking advantage though at this point, or is it like Ticketmaster? Because I mean,
Napalm Death's been doing this shit for fucking years. They're politically charged, all that shit. They've never stopped, whatever, and they're still selling like tickets for $30.
yeah,
Like,
and like
fucking
Rage
Blink-182.
Against the Machine, you know, Rage Against the Machine. To me, I'd say it falls on the artist. The artist controls Ticketmaster. I feel
Yeah.
Pearl Jam. You know, they had a whole thing against Ticketmaster back in the day. We refused to use them. There's things that artists could do to not do the Ticketmaster premium charges, but Blink-182 chose not to go that route. They chose to go with the premium pricing program that they have in place. Rage Against the Machine. I'm sorry, you're going to sell more tickets to see Rage Against the Machine. Well, I guess I can't say you will for sure, but I feel like Rage Against the Machine would at least be on the same level, and their tickets were not even close to being as expensive as what the Blink tickets were. You know,
because Rage is a little more of a truer like. I just
well,
think
there's also a 50% chance that after you buy the tickets to see Rage, that you're never gonna go.
Not gonna go.
Concert.
Yeah,
it's not
exactly.
gonna happen.
You're talking to somebody who had $900 tied up in Rage Against the Machine tickets that, you know, got a hefty refund a couple weeks ago. So
I just think when it comes to the Blink-182 and them doing that shit, man, lost a lot of respect, honestly. Because I mean, like, how the fuck you call yourself punk when you're just fucking screwing everybody?
Well, to be fair though, I mean, they have.
And not to mention the fact that, like, NoFX, they fucked over fucking Fat Mike pretty bad because their first single was supposed to be a song that he wrote. And they liked it, everything, and then they were like, "Oh, Fat Mike wrote it. Never mind." And they didn't want to have anything to do with it. So, yeah,
I feel like Fat Mike would appreciate that fact, though. Just
Fat Mike was actually really happy with the fact that they were getting ready to put out. It was like he was like, "Oh, our first like fucking major label fucking like single that I helped write, that kind of thing." And they were like, "Oh no, we can't do that now."
See, I had no idea he was involved with Blink, you know, in that aspect.
Well, it was because of Mike Scavia. Was that his name? Mike? No, Mike. The dude that was in before Tom got back. He had co-wrote
Matt Skiba from Alkaline
Skiba.
Trio.
Okay. Yeah. When he was in the band and stuff, him and Fat Mike were hanging out a lot, and Fat Mike wrote the song, and he showed him, and he was like, "Oh man," he's like, "Dude, I've got this song that like I think it's a Blink-182 song," and he showed them, and it was supposed to be like they went and recorded the actual song and everything. It was going to be the first single on the album. They found out that Fat Mike wrote it, and they were like, "Nope, we can't do it now."
Oh,
and
crazy.
it's just like,
you
know what?
Add some punk rock cred to the new form, you know, the new Blink-182.
Yeah, you know what? It just kind of goes to show, like, honestly, when it comes down to the pop punk thing, who's actually the ones that are actually true? NoFX. Bottom line, I love Blink-182 from the back of the day. Like I do, but
I don't know. I'm a huge Matt Skiba fan. I've loved Alkaline Trio. I've loved it when he did the side project with the Secrets. I mean, when he did that one live concert with fucking Wes Borland, with him and Wes Borland doing shit. I mean, that was fucking sweet as fuck.
Yeah, no, I like Al. I mean, they're one of the most satanic pop punk bands, ever. Like, they were great. I mean, they're cool, but and the stuff that he did with Blink was good. But I don't know. I just say it's kind of shitty because I've listened to the song. There's two versions. There's a NoFX version they put out, and there's a Blink-182 version that we probably never hear. And Fat Mike even says, you know what, the Blink-182 version is so much better than ours, but we're gonna go ahead and just put out this version because why the fuck not? So I don't know. I have a lot of opinions on that shit, but yeah. Like I don't know. Kills me.
Now, I was going to ask you, James, what was the name of that tour that was going on? I don't know if it still is. It's the one with like basically all the pop punk bands from, like, I'd say probably all.
Oh, the When We Were Young festival.
Yeah. No, I know Blink-182 was on that. Were the tickets for that cheaper?
They're one of the
than
headliners.
Blink?
No, like that's an all-day festival thing. So that's like it was like $300 a pop, I think, to get into that.
That makes sense though.
Yeah, but you got Blink, you got Green Day, pretty much every single pop punk act, from my childhood. Like I'll be able to see the movie Life, Saves the Day.
From 98 to like 2004 fucking 15, they had like all the bands there, like all those fucking other shit.
Yeah, all the heavy hitters will be there, you know.
But that was one of the things that kind of made me think that it might have not have been just Blink-182 with those ticket prices, because I knew those tickets were a lot cheaper, and you still got to see Blink as well as 100 fucking other bands.
Yeah, which is awesome. But I mean, as Blink on their own tour, I don't know. I mean, because how many kids do you know that had that kind of fucking money?
But also, that festival didn't sell tickets for Ticketmaster. They went through a separate ticketing agency.
There you go. Yeah,
all kinds of reasons and things.
Well, I mean, James would know though. I mean, that's for sure. But anyways, going back to some of the stuff that you were doing though, man. So, like I said before, I knew you obviously can see some inspiration with like Rage Against the Machine with some of this stuff. But like, what decided for you to actually go the route and actually put this together and start releasing it all like that? Because I know you're like, hands down, you're probably, and you can't really quote me on this because I really don't know the numbers for it, but I mean, you're definitely part of one of the biggest morning shows as far as regular radio goes. In my opinion, probably, period. I mean, there's not too many that I would even say are even on the same caliber as that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big popular show. We do fairly well in a few selected markets. I'm very proud to be a part of Dave and Chuck the Freak. I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for Dave, Chuck, and Lisa. Liking my man on the street stuff, liking my work ethic and my graphic art and stuff. I used to do the Metro Times ads. If for those of you in the Detroit area, when the Metro Times was like the free magazine you'd get, not only to get transsexual hot sex line phone numbers, but to find out when the concerts are coming to town, which bands are coming to town. It was a great free magazine you'd get. And the radio station had a deal to where every week we'd run like a print ad. So I used to design the Dave and Chuck print ads for that. I designed, the ads for that radio station to go in that magazine. And it's definitely cool to be a part of the radio show. But also at the same time, I like to make extra money. I'd like to be able to, be able to stand on my own without needing the help, from mom and dad, Dave and Chuck, all the time. So for me right now, the way it is on the internet, people are making, money hand over fist, showing their butthole on OnlyFans. So this is my version of my butthole on OnlyFans. And it's work that I put in like 10 years ago. So all these designs that are going to be put out now, it's either artwork that I purchased or artwork that I've designed myself. So everything that's up on the site right now, I'dbuythatshirt.com, it's all original artwork that I've done, that I've designed and either submitted to groups. Like there's a design on there with a skull and some ants and looks like sound waves. I submitted that to a guy who would acquire artwork and take to major recording artists. So that design right there was originally designed done for Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, shit.
They wanted the lyrics, "Let Me Hear You Scream," which was a single that he was putting out at the time. So like in the mouth area, there's kind of some dead space in between like the little ants going up where my logo is and that big ant. I had those lyrics, "Let Me Hear You Scream" in there. I took those off and just put it as a design on its own, just to stand as its own piece of art.
That design is much better than that album was.
I bet. I don't think it did very well. But that artwork got denied. They're like, no, this isn't good enough. We're going to go, with somebody else. So
that was their fault. That's a good design. I got to say, man, I love your fucking designs.
Thank you.
Because they have that, because I'm a grindcore fucking punk fucking dude, and I like that underground fucking feel, and I dig that shit. Like the one that I really because I like this kind of simple kind of looking shit, but like the one with the guy looks like a severed head. There's like red blood, like or some shit all over the place.
Yeah, it's ice cream.
Yeah. There's that right there is like that is a shirt that I want for us. Like that's a badass shirt. Like that to me.
And see, that was a design that I had posted for sale. Just I would add your band's name to it. You'd find a spot to put your band's name, but there wasn't anybody that really picked up on it. And the people that were like, I also wanted an honest price for my artwork. So the people that would be on this website, it was called MTs, which later changed to Minties. It's no longer around anymore, but it was essentially people would go and share their graphic design, their t-shirt art. And for me, I think I'd have these bomb ass designs. You'd post them and then they just fucking rip you apart. Like you're putting yourself out there and the people would just shit on it. So I was like, well, maybe I don't have what it takes, to be a successful graphic designer or to be a really, really good t-shirt artist. So the artwork is just sat on a hard drive. Going through old hard drives, I've found all this artwork. So now I'm releasing it on my own to try to see if there is some interest now. And
You know what?
there is. People are buying them. I'm not going to be a millionaire by any means, but it's nice to hear positive feedback. People are enjoying the designs. I'm able to put them on a t-shirt that's affordable, that's comfortable. I'm trying to keep the prices as low as possible, so I try to keep the t-shirt prices under $20. Eventually, with the way things are going with the economy and stuff, I'm probably going to have to bump them up to about $19.99 for the shirt before shipping gets added in. But right now, regular t-shirts, I believe, are $18.99, and that's just with my art. Anything that's Man-Thong Mafia related is a little bit cheaper. The Man-Thong Mafia is my gaming community over on Twitch. So when I'm not busy doing dad stuff, I usually would stream at least once or twice a week over at twitch.tv/whotheFisJC. And we play games. We got the Man-Thong Mafia. If you watch me long enough, you become a made member. You get swag. You get like patches and stickers. And I do giveaways on my Discord and stuff like that. But the t-shirt stuff really is just a side hustle. It really is what it is. Just to see how it would go, how it would work out. And I got designs, that were selected as winners from a couple of t-shirt design contests that they're no longer around. So technically, I sold the rights to those companies. Those companies are gone. So I'm going to take them back out. I'm going to put them back out there, and see if we can make a few dollars with work that I've already put in.
Which is awesome. I'm really happy that you're actually able to sell some of these. I mean, they're incredible designs.
They're cool as fuck.
I will personally say, from somebody who's like, I've purchased shirts from so many things. I mean, being somebody who does this kind of stuff all the time and a supporter of so many different projects. I mean, a lot of people, especially people who are trying to make cheaper shirts, always use like websites like TeePublic, which I personally stepped away from because their shirts were uncomfortable. The designs were falling off.
They're really rough. They're not soft. Like I want like a nice, soft, comfortable tee, but those come at a higher price. So I'm sacrificing my profit in order to give the people that come to my shop a more comfortable t-shirt.
Right. So, I'm not 100% sure who you're using. I have a pretty good idea because they feel pretty similar to the ones on my shop, which I had to upgrade for a higher priced one too. But I mean, the quality of this shirt is hands down one of the nicer ones that I've ever got to, feel. Not only that, but you know this. I mean, we talked when I first got it and everything, but like it's been washed many, many times. I've worn this shirt to work. For those who do not know, professionally, I'm a millwright.
Yeah.
This shirt doesn't have tears. It has.
You're gonna get dirty. You're getting grimy. You're in the factory.
No, millwright. I'm not in the factory.
No.
No.
Okay. Then I guess I'm mistaken what a millwright is. I thought you're using like the machines, like a
millwright,
industrial lathe and stuff. No.
Outside millwright.
Okay.
So conveyors, welding, replacing,
even more
motors, engines. Yeah.
See, that's my lack of knowledge on the trades. So
no, it's okay. A lot of
these hands are soft. They're soft hands. I haven't had to work that hard in my life, working in radio and that type of stuff.
Well,
so
these hands can't feel no more.
I got to make a comment. I got to make a comment because you were talking about how you put your shit out there and people were just shitting on it.
Yeah.
And I got to say this right now. That's one of the biggest fucking problems with being a fucking creator and being a creative type, in any way, shape, or form, is you have assholes that are just looking to be mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is the biggest fucking problem because you have a fucking talent, the shit looks fucking killer, and those assholes are just jealous. And fuck those kind of people because I'm so fucking sick of that goddamn bullshit with people. Social justice warriors, eat a dick. That's my fucking public service announcement.
Well, I mean, I don't know why a lot of people who shit on things, it's usually goes along with
too, but like
being able to do anything. And
but if someone puts their heart and soul in something that they something that they really wanted to do, and people just make it a fucking point just to go on there just to be shitheads, like, dude, get a fucking job, fucking do. I don't know, go watch porn a little longer.
It's mostly jealousy driven, though. I mean,
exactly. That's what it is.
It's
so if somebody doesn't like your shit, that means it's actually better than they're actually putting off.
Well, I mean, That's the
I've
truth.
been
I
a
mean,
victim of such things as well, as you can tell.
I will be, first one to admit that I actually really love these designs. I think this right here is
That's a
probably
sweet
going to be
design,
my
man.
next one that I get personally.
Awesome, man.
But
Intergalactic
I
Space
dig that
Ranger.
one. You ever heard of the band Sleep?
The band. Wait, what?
The band Sleep. Have you ever heard of them? They're a stoner metal band.
Nope, nope, nope.
Okay, well they a lot of their stuff has like they have a lot of like spaceman stuff. It's all about weed. Okay,
Oh, okay.
and that like a lot of the spaceman stuff. And when that popped up, that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, that's a Sleep shirt, man. That's one of my favorite fucking bands. So like that's fucking awesome.
That design actually got picked up by a T-shirt a day site called Ripped Apparel, and they printed that shirt for a day. I think we sold like 100 to 110. I can't remember the exact number, but
Very nice.
sold about 100 to 112 articles of clothing, going from T-shirt, tank tops, and hoodies. So,
fuck yeah.
Yeah, the first thing I thought of when I saw that design is I was like, huh. I wonder if you went over to Chuck's house in his basement and kind of worked on it together.
Actually, no, that was before me and Chuck had our little love fest.
It seems like something that he would have had something to do with. Not you, Chuck Nasty, David.
I realized that like 2 seconds ago. Yeah, I got it. It throws me off with the whole name Chuck, even though I've been called Chuck the Freak many times in my life. But yeah.
Yeah, not as long as this guy. That's
No,
for sure.
yeah.
He's been doing this radio show as Chuck the Freak since you hit puberty. Oh man, but no,
Embarrassing, awkward.
I do absolutely love these designs though. I can't wait to see more. I know that you actually recently had a post about some newer designs that were they were kind of teased on there.
Yeah,
and,
so Black Friday, I'm going to put out some designs of art that I've curated. So it's some designs that I've purchased back in the day. So for a while, I ran my own like T-shirt line that it was called Suburban Hijinks. That ended up turning into like a body jewelry store, or I was selling like cheap plugs for the stretch piercings and stuff. And once I got full time in radio with Dave and Chuck, I had to put that in the back burner because I didn't have time to pack all the envelopes and process all the orders, and you go to the post office. So I had to put that on the back burner. And now using a print on demand supplier, I'm able to at least get back into the T-shirt world. So I have some of that artwork, and I have some new designs that I purchased that I'm going to release for Black Friday. And hopefully I'll have enough time to where I can release the last batch of my original art that I still have on the hard drive. So then by the end of the year, everything that I have right now will be there on the site. And then I'll be looking to design again. Like this is kind of reignited my passion for graphic design, coming up with other designs, coming up with other ideas, different things I want to be able to do and design in my spare time since, there's a lot more time spent at home with the baby now. So I can put that time to good use, feed him, put him down, and hop on the laptop, kick out a couple designs, put it out there and see if it sticks. It gives me a purpose to do some art. So
I personally love it. I mean, hopefully it keeps you going around and staying busy with a lot of stuff, especially with all the appearances and conventions and everything else that you do too. I mean, it almost gives you more of a reason to go to some of those things to promote some of it too.
Yeah, help pass up flyers and stuff like that. Like I can't really offer a ton of discounts because I try to keep the prices as low as I possibly can to where I don't feel like I'm taking advantage of people. Because I feel like
you
some
have discounts on there. I mean, $50 or more. Use the code Wowabunga.
Yep, and technically the $50 that's essentially buy two get one free. Right. If you want to break it down into the profits of what I would make, the 50% off with the $50 purchase, that amounts to you're buying 2 shirts, you're getting one for free in terms of like how I would be making profit. So we try to keep everything affordable. I remember what it was like back in the day. You're like, damn, man, I can't spend, $35 for a t-shirt. That's insane. But you got some people that just want to try to sell the shirts, for insane amounts of money.
Yeah, I think we keep ours about, I think, $17 to $19 a piece on our site. I mean, I've always been the type of person where it's like, with us, though, we're doing something entirely different than, graphic design because we've bought our images. I've, paid for them to be designed the way they are. And then I designed the t-shirts with the images that I've already purchased. And for me, it's more like, all right, well, these are our fans buying it. I just want they're buying it just to support me and have something for them. So it's
your fans. Somebody ever bought mine. Anyway.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. So funny story. We had a thing going for a while with our shirts, and this was when we were back on T Public. And I think within that little time period, I sold how many?
I don't
I don't
know.
know. I
I
sold
just
a
totally hate
bunch
it.
with just me on it, and literally not one person bought one with just him on it. We kind of had like a thing going, and nobody would buy the Chuck Nasty shirt.
Many days of slamming my dick in the toilet.
I loved
Pain,
it though.
pain.
I purposely designed it weird. No, I'm joking.
Saboteur.
Sean says I have one of yours. Now I will say though, after what you just said though, this shirt looks really cool. I love this shirt, but I might be waiting a couple of weeks now, especially knowing that Black Friday I'm going to be seeing so many more designs, and a couple that were teased there. I mean, there was one that I can't say for sure what it was because I didn't get to see the whole thing. But I'm a really big Mario Brothers fan.
No, if you're into Mario, I think you might like this one, especially if you love the concept of Mario not defeating Bowser.
Oh, see, there we go. Yeah, because that's kind of it seemed like a darker image than I can't wait to personally see that one. I think that's going to be one that I'm probably going to end up picking up. And plus, like as a for those out there watching this too, I'm a bigger dude with a larger torso than longer torso than legs. And these shirts still fit comfortably without showing off my ass crack. You know how fucking hard that is to find a shirt like that? Other than buying like the XLTs from Carhartt, where they're like the tall size. One of the first questions I asked you, I don't know if you remember when you had your site when it first started, was the dimensions. Your shirts are
the size chart,
longer. Like they're actually legitimately a little bit longer.
Good. I'm glad it fits better.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, most people watching this show, I'm probably not going to say that because that's probably a dick move. I'm going to say like we're all a bunch of fat guys. No, because we're probably not. But,
I'm a fat guy. I wear 3X.
There we go.
I have to wear 3X.
Well, there you
More
go.
comfortable that way. It's that big dad butt belly out. I mean, like.
Yeah. But the
I gotta fake the fatness.
So
look at me sideways.
Anyways, though, I know you got things to do and everything, so we're gonna go ahead and here. I might be checking out some of that Man Thong Mafia stuff too, though. I mean, that seems pretty cool. I saw some of the designs on there. I'm a little nervous about having to describe some of the images to my kids when they ask me what it is. But
because you got Mario with the butt plug, and a dildo, wearing an S&M harness. But then we have, hunks from hell. You got, just a hunky dude with a machine gun riding a unicorn. That's as tame as it gets. But then you also have the unicorn with the dong or crossbones. Like that.
Which is fucking great.
Like, I can walk around wearing an anal cunt t-shirt around here, and my son doesn't even give a fuck. He doesn't pay attention, whatever. If I walk around here with a fucking Mario Brothers shirt with a fucking dildo up his ass or whatever the fuck, like he's gonna start doing some shit. Yeah.
I can't get the focus, but yeah, so it's me as Mario, but I got a butt plug and I got a dildo right there. I'm wearing flip flops and I'm wearing like a. Oh, there we go. We got the focus right there.
Oh man, is that button available? Is that a button or a patch?
This right here is actually a prize for the members of my gaming community. If you collect points watching me on Twitch, this is actually a phone pop socket. You can see I have one on the back of my phone here.
I follow you on Twitch, but my hours make it very difficult.
I got you.
Yeah, I'm midnight
shift.
So
that's a rough shift to be on, man. But yeah, so that's a design on a shirt. That's actually a design drawn up by a local Detroit guy, Troy Smith. Drew that up and sent it to me, and
awesome.
Gave me permission to print stuff with it. So
that's awesome. I absolutely love that, and I will say it's been a pleasure talking with you. I've been a huge fan, like I said, for a long time. I mean,
well, thanks, man. I appreciate you listening to David Chuck the Freak.
I mean, yeah.
It's good shit. I only just started listening to like some of it recently, and I really like it.
I've been telling you for how long, though?
I'm glad we got you on board.
I had a lot going on, so but I
mean, just this year alone, you guys you've expanded the show quite a bit.
Yeah, we're in a bunch of new markets. We're in the Carolinas. We're in Indiana. Where else? Up in Saginaw now, so the people up in Saginaw can hear us. I think there's a few more. I don't pay attention to that type of stuff because you start to get too big of an ego, and you
No,
don't want to
I mean,
go
you guys
crazy.
talk
So
about it. Like,
yeah,
I
but
actually
we
moved
are. We've
out of the
been
region and I still listen. Like,
awesome. Well, it's always available as a
yeah,
podcast.
yeah,
DaveandChuckTheFreak.com. It's available however you get your podcasts: Spotify, Google, Apple, any fucking way you can get a podcast. You can get the Dave and Chuck the Freak podcast. It's highly hilarious shit.
It's funny.
yeah,
If you like,
I
if
love
you
it.
like
I do it on
sophomoric,
Stitcher.
dick and fart humor, it's there. But there's also, some great improvisation between Chuck the Freak and Andy Green, Dave, and we have the show has a different way of tackling um, all sorts of topics, from the sexually perverse to more serious, real world shit. And
People
it's
dying on the air.
exactly, So
Yeah.
that's a very
Yeah,
recent show. So he's been listening.
yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah, I
yeah.
highly encourage you to check it out. If you're into funny shit, you want to laugh, if you want to just check it out, just to give it a little taste, just put your little tongue on the button. The Tasty Bits podcast was just like the best shit of that day. So you can go to daveandchuckthefreak.com, go to the Tasty Bits, listen to some of that. That'll give you a real taste of what the full episodes would be. Because a full episode, you're looking at like 3 hours and 16 to 20 minutes. The
Yeah.
Tasty Bits going to be anywhere from 45 to like an hour and 15 or so. So it's just the best stuff that we think we did that day, put into a podcast. So there's two ways to hear it. If you want a real funny, real tiny taste, you can check out the Peep Show videos, and that'll give you like the taste of one radio bit right there. If you go to daveandchuck3.com and check out a Peep Show clip. They're also available on YouTube, youtube.com/DaveandChuck.
Odd man out
Yeah.
props. You'll laugh, you've cry, you'll get erect.
That's some of the things we do. It's the only show you'll listen to that can give you a boner, but also make you throw up 2 seconds later.
Hell yeah.
You've had some things on there that I've gotten pretty close myself, and I have a strong stomach. I listen to.
I thought he was talking about the boner. I thought he was talking about the boner.
I was
no,
gonna,
no,
yeah,
no, that's
JP was
different.
talking about coming. He wasn't talking about puking. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I was like, wow, he's getting close. Wow.
Hey, well,
So close. Somebody laugh some more.
the visuals I get are so fucking great.
Daydreaming about all that joshing around.
Oh, all that joshing around. And then whenever I want to see it, I can just hop over to your Instagram page.
There you
over
go.
at, the Who the F is JC, and see all that man thong stuff that can make everybody erect.
Damn straight. That's what we're there for.
Which I appreciate. I definitely do. And like I said, I appreciate you coming on. It's been a blast.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
You're gonna go
Yeah,
ahead.
no
and
problem,
get-
guys. Thanks for having me. I know we met up at Astronomicon, I think a couple of years
Yeah.
ago, and I guess you had some issues trying to get your message to me about being on. So I'm glad we finally made it happen.
Oh, that was a fucking shit show. Because I don't know, you can't see him behind me. Legitimately had press passes for everything, which you could see in. Yeah, everything that they were setting up for me, they didn't get any of it set up.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
With every single person, they asked me for like the list of everybody, how to do it, where to go, where to interview everybody. They didn't hold up any bit of anything that they said they were going to do.
Well, don't give up on them. I'm sure they got something happened. There must have been something lost in translation. I know they're a good group of dudes at the Astronomicon, so I'm sure none of it was done, maliciously. It was probably just
no.
a
Sure, it wasn't
miscommunication.
done maliciously, but I mean, hell, an apology would have been cool. Other than going there and them while I'm there for 2 hours, them finally emailing me back saying, "Oh yeah, we didn't do any of that." That would have been cool. But
I gotcha.
it is what it is. It didn't stop me from having a good time and still meeting some really cool people. In fact, that's where I got that Crypt Keeper mask. So
There you go. And hey, that's where we connected, and that's how what got
Oh,
me
yeah.
on here right now. So there's still some positivity that came out of it.
And I, like I said, thank you so much for coming on, dude. It's a fucking blast.
No problem.
If you got to leave right away or whatever, I understand. If you want to sit back and chill for a few minutes after the show, feel free. I understand either way, but thank you again, man. It was a fun time. Great movie choice.
Thank you.
If you ever want to do it again, let me know. If
Okay.
Yeah.
you ever want to be disgusted, let me know, and we could make you watch something really fucked up.
Okay.
So, anyways, everyone, check out everything else we have going on over at talesfromthepodcast.com. And remember, check out our comic book. You can touch it. You can come on it. I don't give a fuck what you do after you buy it. But check that shit out. We're working on some more stuff for it. Enjoy the hell out of that. Check out Chuck's band. Check out my band. check out James, check out Dave and Chuck the Freak. You will fucking be so happy. And check out I'd buy that shirt.com. You'll have a fucking blast with that and then great fucking products. And yeah, that's all I got for today. So thank you all for listening. And with that being said, the crypt is closed.
Thanks for listening, kiddies. You're all a scream.